This has been a long requested, long waited car on this channel. This is probably one of the most you should get this BMWs of them all. I have gotten non-stop DMs from people about getting a 2002, and we have our very first one here in the shop. I just got back from picking this beauty up. I am very excited about this car, very excited to show you guys this car. This is a very solid 2002 from what I can see in my expertise on 2002s. I don't know much, but I know a nice BMW when I see a nice BMW, and I think this is one. So welcome to our first episode of the 2002 series. How exciting does that sound? This will be a fun one, not only because it's a channel first, it's my first, but also because it is some assembly required car that I've picked up. And I think that's why I got it for the price I got it. I got it for a very fair price for the 2002 market. And that's because I'm gonna have to finish bug. I am going to be completing someone's decade plus mini restoration project that was cut short, unfortunately, but we'll get into that later. We have a car to show you. We have a whole folder of service records, a bunch of parts. This will be a good one. So, the basics with this car. This is a 1974 2002 BMW. Don't know what else to say besides that. It has US bumpers, unfortunately, so it's a 74, so it's not a roundy, but it's an early 74, so according to the previous owner, it has original or early style seats and early style carpet and stuff, but it also was unfortunate enough to get the US bumpers and the non-roundy taillights. I know there's a cult following behind roundies, but anyway, I will walk you guys around this car, show you guys all the interesting stuff, show you how nice it is, and then we'll kind of discuss and go through the records and show what's up with this car, the history with this car, and all that. So obviously right off the bat, you notice it doesn't quite look complete in the front. Don't worry, we have all those parts. But otherwise, walking around, this thing is in very good shape. The paint is beautiful on this car. It was repainted, and I have receipts for that sometime in, I think, the early 2000s, and it was an expensive paint job then, so you can only imagine how expensive it would be in today's world. And I mean, the quality's there. It is a very fair paint job. Mind you, right now, this car is currently sitting under years of dust. It has not been washed in a long time, so it's under dust. I think I just got bird poop on my drive home. I got to get that off this paint. But this is very dirty paint. It's showing very well in the shop, and it's still being a dirty car. So presents well, resprayed back in the day. And the quick story behind this is it was a guy who purchased it in California in the late 90s, I believe, brought it here to Illinois, and then it was sun faded from California, so he took it in, got the car repainted, or he dropped the engine off at a shop local here in Illinois, got the M10 fully rebuilt. We'll get into that in a second. But he dropped the car for paint, kept the engine, or took the engine to a shop, whatever, I don't know. Basically, a whole restoration is what he tried to do. And unfortunately, he passed away and was not able to finish this car, and that's why we have it here in, I don't want to say 100 pieces, but in a few pieces. So the last bits of exterior stuff that need to be done: front hood trim, corner or the turn signal lights, the lower door trim, and I think that's about it for exterior. And I got right here, I have the door trim. Not only do I have the original door trim, but I also have brand new door trim. And that's the beauty of the 2002 market, is you can get this stuff brand new still, a lot of parts, because just a lot of good aftermarket support, because it's a very sought after BMW. So we have all the pieces to get all the trim back in place. We got turn signals, and check out this interior really quick. Boom, we'll get to that in a second. But otherwise, walk around this car, one of the big things you gotta worry about is rust on 2002, and I am actually blown away at the condition of this car. It is not a rusty car, and that is really crazy. If you get under here, I mean, it is, the lighting's not good, but you have one little spot of surface rust right there, but the rockers are completely solid, no rust. The floorboards, completely solid. Look at those rockers, floors, subframes are just beautiful. I mean, they look brand new. Inside the wheel wells, you know, where the rocks all hit, no rust there, no rust in there, no rust under the arches, which is astonishing. The front, you have your danger zone in there, not bad. I mean, there's no rust on that. This fender appears to be a little bit like bowed out right there, and you could see that gap. So I'm not sure what happened there. Looks a little bit different than this side. So that's the only kind of like weird part of the car. But this side, again, same thing. Super solid, and that trim covers all this. Super solid in the wheel wells. I mean, it looks, basically, it's beautiful. The only issue with this car, the only like rust spot that's really there, is right in the front valence at the bottom here. You got one little hole right there at the very bottom. It is invisible to the eye. That is probably because this is a high rock chip area. A big enough rock must have hit that, went through it, and from there it just rusted. I mean, you're talking a car from the 70s, so that's, you know, things like that happen. That's by no means a serious issue. But yeah, I mean, it is a nearly rust-free car. Oh, I would call it virtually rust-free car. And that is what you could only ever ask for. The sunroof tracks, no rust. The trunk, see the trunk we got full of parts, but I mean, coming around, like, there is no rust around the seals, just old, I think seam sealer or undercoating or whatever. Like, it is, these seams have a little bit of corrosion, it looks like, but nothing too serious. Again, very old car. But the strut towers, totally solid on this car. I mean, beautiful. I mean, these are absolutely solid. Nothing to worry about. Back here we have all of our spare parts, things that have to be put together. You know, distributor, cap, rotor, cooling hoses, spare lights, corner lights, hoses, belts. I mean, you name it, sensors, whatever. This is the heart of what's left to be put together back here. On the side here, you can see we got cooling system, radiator, brand new master cylinder, exhaust parts, more exhaust parts, radiator fan shroud, a whole dash cover, which is crazy. I guess he had a dash cover on it, which you don't really need because this car's dash is pretty solid. It's got one little crack right there. I guess one there and there. I'm not sure what goes here. I'm going to have to figure that out. Hopefully I have that. But otherwise, the dash is in very good condition. Shift pattern on the dash. It is a 4-speed car. 44,278 miles is what it reads. If it's accurate, I don't know. We'll find out one of these days. I have reasons to believe it is because, I mean, look at this interior. This is the second best part of this car. It is mint condition. We got some gaskets right here. That back seat, I don't think it's ever been sat in. It is gorgeous in here. Headliner is super nice. Door cards are super nice. And given all the receipts, even the carpet's beautiful. It's a little dirty right there. Pedals have to be put together, but like, look at how nice these seats look. And now I'm not an expert on 2002s, but I've had my fair share of old BMWs. They are very hard to replicate if you were to get reupholstery done. Very hard to replicate the look of these. And I mean, the quality is there for being OEM. I can't imagine these are recovered. This is OEM stuff right here. This is all OEM stitching and stuff. We got one little loose thread right there. But these look very original to me. I think it would be very hard to replicate. And given all the service records he kept of this car, I think it would be very weird to not have the records of this interior being redone. So I'm going on a limb and saying this interior is all original, and it's in really good shape. Both door cards. The center console usually just gets destroyed, I heard. This is super solid. We got the old radio right here. Ashtray, yeah. 4-speed shifter. I think this kind of has to be buttoned down. Yeah, the circlips have to go in there, but 4-speed shifter. Shifts nice. E-brake works. Some buttons here. Hazards. Key. Let's see, how does the glove box open? Oh, beautiful. Nice little glove box. What else? We already saw this. Tack, coolant temp, fuel gauge, lights, front fog lamps. It's actually wired for fog lamps. Heat defrost. How cool is that? I will show you guys in the video of the E9, but this shares the same basically cluster as the E9, which I've yet to show you guys, but that'll come in the later video. I figured I'd show you guys this first because I just got it. I've had that for a few days, forgot to film a video. But manual windows, manual seats, obviously. That's the front hood trim. But I mean, this is a really nice car. Now we'll get into the engine bay, which I have to figure out how to open. Oh yeah, just like the E9 right here. Whoa, that has some power. So now we'll go in the engine bay here. And look at this. Again, I mean, no rust in the fenders, the top of the fenders, no rust in the bay. I mean, look at this thing. I mean, it would be clear if this car was in any accidents. No accidents, it looks like, on this car. None reported. The whole bay is nice. I mean, it's very good condition. I think when it was resprayed, they got a little crazy with what they didn't cover, but it was resprayed a long time ago. All the stickers are there, so you got motor oil stickers, emissions sticker, cooling system stuff, fuse box diagrams on the hood. How cool is that? BMW 2002 air pressure model 2002. It's so cool. I mean, it's in such good condition in here. And the best part is, this is a fully rebuilt M10. I mean, completely out of the car, completely disassembled. You can maybe see how clean it looks in there. And it has not been run. So that is where the project comes in on this car. Aside from the few exterior things, it was never redone, finished completely. Brand new brake calipers, I forgot to mention, up front. But yeah, so there's no cooling system, there's no master cylinder. Looks like some relays are missing. No exhaust. The distributor's not in there. So it needs to be buttoned up. It's basically, I don't know, 85% there. I mean, everything's kind of here. And again, all the parts are in the trunk. So I believe I have everything to get this running, but we just have to do that, and it has never ran. So this is a rebuilt motor, and it's sat for I don't know how many years now. Could be close to a decade. I'm going to spin it over and make sure it's not seized. Hopefully it's not, but basically, yeah, DIY here. I got to finish someone's project, which is always scary, but when you have all the parts as extensively as I think I have the parts for this car, not super worried. M10s are just the most simple, cute little guys right here. I'm worried about distributor timing. I've just never done that. I'm going to have to do some research there. But it is, I mean, should be fairly simple. The lines for the master are there. It just has to be put in. You know, we got some relay madness going on right here. Trans, I don't know if that was redone or not, but it looks beautiful. Got to put the belts on. Just a bunch of little odd stuff. We obviously need a battery and all that, but this should not be too bad, especially with all the parts. And then obviously like an M30, once it runs, I actually have to finish the torquing procedure. And it's actually funny, the shop left their little note on here of kind of like reminders for this engine. So engine is at TDC. I don't know if it still is or not. Value lash 0.006 to 0.008. Cold is set. Okay, so the valves are set. Needs to be rechecked after break-in, obviously. And then head will need retorqued at 59 foot-pounds. Isn't that so funny? So this is important stuff right there that I will follow. And yeah, that's basically the gist of it. We're not going to dive in this video. I wish I could clean it, but I'm going to tuck away in the corner of the shop because I won't touch it for a little while. And then we will get into this thing one of these days and have a running and driving 2002 very soon. Very exciting stuff. This is a channel first, my first, as I said. And I think this is a good car to start with. And I mean, as you guys see, the paint shines good, and this is after layers and layers of dust. But the previous owner took and by previous owner, I mean basically the guy who saved it from the shop. Shout out to Ian, very helpful, very good salesman for this car. He saved it from the shop who had it, and not really saved it, they were going to hold on to it, but they gave him a good price on the car, so he carried that forward. But he hit one spot with a buffer right here, and I mean, dude, this paint, you can't even hardly tell because the rest of the paint looks so clean, but there's a little bit. This is basically the tape line. If you could see it on camera, great. If not, oh well. But this paint is going to clean up, I mean, tremendously. It is beautiful. So I'm very stoked about that. The US bumpers are just absolutely awful, but hopefully I can find Euro bumpers or we could do something about that. So then here, looking through all the extensive service records, man, we got things from BMA, which is so funny because I've been there in person when I was getting stuff for the E12. We have all the original eBay Motors pictures of this car. I guess when he bought it, I don't know what year, but it says 08 on there. I don't know if that's, when it was live, when he bought it. I think he owned it a little bit longer than that, so I'm not quite sure. But, the interior matches, color, obviously. I mean, look how beautiful this car was. All these eBay pictures. I don't know what these are from. I think these are it's like inspiration pictures, it looks like. But, I mean, just tons of receipts all over the place. And then here is we got the paint stuff. I can't find the receipt, but I'll look through it later. But we got the receipt for the engine rebuild. So machine engine part shop, work completed. Assemble 4-cylinder long block, valve job, guide, aluminum head replace, add heads with camshaft, replace freeze plugs, boil 4-cylinder block, I'm not sure what that means, power hone, grind the crank, piston pin bushings, piston align rods, clean pistons, rocker assemblies, $2,600 in what year? In 2009, all that work was performed. So not that long ago. So I guess probably before 2010 is when all this stuff happened, it looks like. But yeah, so a whole engine rebuild with the proof right there. That's really cool. And then, we have parts, brake parts, water pump parts, all sorts of stuff. So the brakes have been done, the water pump, the cooling system, the whole engine, obviously. We got paintwork stuff, but I got to find the exact quote that actually tells you how much he paid for the paintwork. This is the shipping of the car when it originally got it. I can't tell what that date says, but so yeah, that's cool right there. But just lots of cool old receipts in here from the early 2000s. That is really exciting when you buy a car. I used to not get excited about service records, but now I do. And I just realized how actually cool this dash cover is, because when this is on, it does not, you can't even tell. So that's really cool. Like that literally pops on, you can't even tell it as a cover. But yeah, I'm absolutely stoked on this car. I hope you guys are excited to see this project come to be, because I'm excited to drive a 2002. I'm excited to work on one and just own one. And I think that this will be a very fun car to work on. So yeah, I just forgot that I never talked about the actual color here. It is Verona Red, it looks like. BMW Verona. And then the VIN is stamped all over. It matches, so that's cool. So, this is a legit solid, I would say, all original car. I think it's retaining all of its original stuff, which is impressive. And it just looks good and it's solid. Some things here and there, like this door needs to be adjusted. Like, I don't know what's up with this. It's got like new seals, I think, and they are just hard to close. But this will be a very fun car to dig into, so I'm very excited. Hope you guys are excited too. Thank you guys so much for watching this quick little introduction video on my new 2002. Stay tuned for some more work. I got some projects to deal with before this, so it'll probably sit for a little bit, but sooner rather than later. And you guys know, no matter how much time goes by, I always get back to my projects. We will dig into this. So I will see you in the next episode, whatever it may be. Thank you guys so much for watching.